好啦，呢條係 Journal Entries 嘅第二條片，我哋會喺呢條片度完成個 Master Table 嘅。咁下一條片呢，我哋就可以做 Journal Entries 啦。以下係免責條款同埋 timestamp。依家我哋就開始整 debit 同 credit 嘅 GL account 啦。喺 debit 呢個 column 呢，當 lookup table 出 expense 嘅時候，我哋就出 expense 嘅 account；而當 lookup table 出 income 嘅時候呢，我哋就出 accounts receivable 嘅 account。喺度你見到我用 find 同 left 去抽取 description 個 stroke 左面呢4個數，你可以就咁用 left 4，不過因為我哋想無論幾多個位嘅數都自動抽到，所以呢，我哋就用 find 啦。依家我哋知道我哋會抽 description 最左邊嗰4個數啦。咁就用 left 喺 description 度抽取 expense 嘅 account。當 lookup table 係 income 嘅時候呢，我哋就喺 debit 度出 accounts receivable 嘅 account。呢度你見到係1060。而當 lookup table 係冇嘢嘅時候呢，就出冇嘢啦。dash。做 debit to 同 credit to 之前呢，我哋需要喺 chart of accounts 度整兩個 tax accounts，佢哋就係 tax recoverable 1483。同 tax payable 2680。如果 lookup table 係 expense，咁 debit to 就出1483 tax recoverable，因為當公司支出嘅時候呢，係可以向政府 claim 翻啲俾咗嘅 sales tax 嘅，所以就係 tax recoverable 啦。呢度呢，我打錯咗，變咗係 debit to 嗰度 debit 咗2680 tax payable，喺稍後片段呢就會改翻㗎啦。credit one 呢度呢，我就要出 accounts payable，即係 chart of accounts 嘅2620 account。如果 lookup table 係 expense 呢，就出 accounts payable 2620。如果 lookup table 係 income 呢，我哋就用 left 同 find 喺 description 度抽個數字，其他情況呢，就出 dash。依家我翻返去 debit to 嗰度剷走 income 嗰部分，因為我唔應該見到2680 tax payable 喺 debit to 嘅。我哋可以 copy 咗 debit to 嘅 formula 去 credit to，然後改呢度做2680 tax payable，對應翻 lookup table 係 income 嘅交易。公司買嘢嘅時候有收入， 咁間公司就好似代政府收錢嘅 agent 咁啦，所以間公司就需要嘔翻代政府收個客嘅錢俾政府。結果就係2680 tax payable 呢個 account 啦。Debit free 同 credit free 咧都幾複雜嘅，為咗容易啲整啦，我哋喺度整幾個名，放啲重複用嘅 formula。首先我哋 rename 咗 table 13做 master， 因為之後會經常用到嘅。第二個名就係 extract description， 呢度你見我用 left 同 find 喺 description 度抽個 GL account number。呢度我 copy 咗條 formula 放喺 extract description 個名入面。咁依家你就可以就咁用 extract description 代替咗之前喺 description 度用 left 同埋 find 啦。睇下幾快。extract withdrawal bank 嘅 GL number 咧，我哋就照版煮換。Control F3 call 個 name manager 出嚟，然後 paste 翻條 formula 喺 extract withdrawal bank 嗰度。跟住我哋改一改 extract withdrawal bank 嚟整 extract deposit bank。依家睇翻 debit free。lookup table 係 expense 或者 payment 嘅時候咧，我哋就 debit accounts payable。所以咧你就見到呢 part 啦。lookup table 係 income bank 或者 receipt 嘅時候咧，即係收個客錢啦，或者轉帳入銀行。所以我哋就 debit deposit bank 嘅相應 GL account。咁你應該見到 extract deposit bank 噶啦。其他情況就出 dash。credit free 咧，我哋只需要改 debit free 少少。等我哋 check 下 credit free 條 formula， 睇下啱唔啱。expense bank 同 payment 嘅時候，我哋就 credit withdrawal bank 嘅 GL account。咁 income 或者 receipt 嘅時候咧，我哋就 credit 1060 accounts receivable 啦。其他情況咧就出 dash。等我抄咗啲 formula 去 debit free 同埋 credit free 嗰度先。喺度我 opod 整個 conditional format， 幫我揾啲 error 出嚟。就咁用 is error 包住第一個 cell， 即係 I6。撳 OK apply 去啲 debit 同埋 credit 嘅 column。依家你見到呢兩個 cell 係紅色，因為我哋未喺呢兩條 payment 度打 withdrawal bank。 咁當我哋喺 payment 嗰版填翻啲 withdrawal bank 之後，再去 master 嘅時候呢，我哋應該見到喺 credit free 呢度咧出呢兩個 payment 出 withdrawal bank 同埋佢哋嘅 GL number。喺度等我改翻 debit to tax recoverable，應該係1483而唔係1683嘅。